Go capture one of the Hammer Brothers.
I'm so SMRT, I didn't even think to do that stupid thing. Apparently SMRT was actually a misread of the original line, and they decided to keep it because it was just so funny.
Is that Degrassi?
Simpsons. That's where it comes from.
Huh.
Like,
what do you think about The Simpsons?
Oh, it's alright. I never really got a chance to watch it, so I don't really have much opinion of them. The only opinion I really have is, wow, they kind of backtracked on a point that they made a long time ago, using a character who made that exact point a long time ago, so that's interesting.
What point is that?
That whole, things don't age poorly, like they were always good and they should still be good. Or, like, it's PC culture or whatever being the problem.
So, what do you think about that as an idea? Do things age poorly, or were they just always bad?
They were always bad.
I agree.
I think it's very important to recognize that and also, study these things and, like, why they're bad. We shouldn't, I like what they did with the Warner Brothers cartoon, golden, collection thing. Like, there was a message, like, at the beginning of this DVD, like, saying that there's some really, like, untasteful, shorts in here, but we're not going to, like, hide them away because it is a part of history, and, yeah, even though we know, like, nowadays, like, it was super bad and should not have happened, it happened. We can't just pretend it didn't. And I'm killing myself.
An argument that I've been turned on to recently has been that, because Mask and I were talking about Best Guy Ever and why he is better than some of the other, like, he's definitely a fairly liberal guy. It's just that he also happens to have some really, like, right-leaning libertarian type views. It's not really fair to call libertarian right-leaning. It just so happens to frequently serve right-leaning platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the reason that we like him, the reason that I like him at least, is he has a goal. Like, what do you think of the... Mike Rugnetta one time said that he prefers feminism to egalitarianism because feminism has, like, a set of goals and a plan of action for how to accomplish that. That has to just be the community that he's plugged into, because I have never heard anybody calling themselves a feminist who actually had, like, a strict plan of action and particular set of goals. It's always been kind of a mushy, non-united sort of goo movement. And the person that I'm citing as the opposite of that is Best Guy Ever, because he very, very clearly wants Starfleet. Starfleet is his end goal. He has a series of points to make about how the world ought to be, and either embodies that himself or embodies some transitional state of being that should be getting everybody onto that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of missing from liberal discourse, is a set of goals. Explicit goals, not just, like, general hand-wave goals.
See, I don't really interact with these things, so I wouldn't really know.
Well, have you ever heard anybody who's left-leaning talk about their goals for the future?
Not really.
How they want society to be specifically?
Well, I know, like, sometimes they talk about how, like, they want people in general to be, but I also don't hear, like, right-leaning people do the same.
Well, it's really easy for right-leaning people. They want everything to be like it was 50 years ago.
I just don't interact with people in that way to really find out.
Well, neither do I. I just happen to have observed it this one time.
I don't know.
I don't think it would even be that hard, but like to come up with a platform. And I think a lot of like conservative dismissal of liberally minded folks, and also this whole if it was bad then it's bad now, or if it's bad now then it was bad then, is also addressed by the idea of having a goal. Because if you just say what the best way to be would be, then people can just start being that. Like if you said that everybody being, I don't actually know what the complaint is against The Simpsons. I've heard that there is a complaint against The Simpsons. Is it that Apu is played by a white guy?
No. One of the complaints is he's basically a stereotype all the way through. Another complaint is I can't remember the exact situation, but Lisa, having to do with Lisa and basically doing the exact opposite of something they did previously, where the previous thing Lisa found out that her favorite doll line is incredibly sexist or something, and having to deal with that. And there was a really good moment apparently with like Marge, like basically talking to Lisa about it and her coming to understand it's okay still like it, but just know that there was this history behind it. But they've basically done the exact opposite, and with the character that they initially did that with. So that was very odd.
Lisa always gets the short end of the stick in that show, which is a reason why I hate The Simpsons. Is my favorite character, Lisa, always gets relentlessly shit on. She never gets to do her own thing. Her thing is always like dumped on by the text and by the subtext of the show. Even if she is the rightest, at least, she seems to be the thing that the writers, at least, actually think. Quite often, like, she is generally compassionate as a person. There's nothing that ever seems to really be that wrong with what she says or does most of the time. The last time I remember her being wrong was, like, and I had only encountered this in passing, was, what's it called? The Lady Gaga episode, because she got really obsessed with Lady Gaga. Because Lady Gaga's whole message is acceptance.
I don't know the Lady Gaga episode.
I mean, I barely do. I hate the way that Lisa is treated.
Yeah, and for a long time more recently, that's more my, or is it recently or is it early on? I don't know. That was my criticism of Family Guy too, how they basically take Meg, a person who's seriously troubled, and basically use her as a joke all the way through. Some episodes, like either early on before it became the Dump on Meg show, like she was shown to be kind of like Peter, it's justified to rag on her, but after a while it just became ha 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 ha, we're gonna make light of your real serious teenage problems just for the sake of comedy. Come on!
In your defense, I wouldn't have been able to get out of that one. Meat plateau. Most adult animation is stuff that I hate.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's kind of weird, but
there's only one genre of adult animation that is allowed in America.
It seems to be kind of the same reasoning why people don't try when it comes to children's media. They feel like they don't have to. Like, kids media, there's an assumption of, oh, it's all babies, so it can be as dumb as we want, just with the under the guise of, oh, they're learning something. Whereas, like, with adult media, it's, oh, we can use fart jokes.
It's low effort.
Yeah.
It's a lot of low effort humor.
Yeah,
and it's exclusively humor.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's still the weird, like, idea that animation is only for kids or comedy or something. Like, there can't be serious animation.
I'll say it right now. If you don't take animation seriously, unsubscribe, stop watching. I literally hate you. Your opinion doesn't matter to me.
In this day and age, I can't even imagine how someone could not take animation seriously. Like, for reals.
Well, if they had just never seen anything good. But that, like, saying that you can't take animation seriously is like saying that you don't take books seriously.
Yeah, right?
Which is a real opinion held by actual living humans.
It's crazy because it's not... Animation isn't even a genre. It's a medium. That's all it is. There's no one kind of, like, animation that you can... like, where if you've seen one, you've seen them all type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get it. So we're in Pompeii now.
Something like that.
Oh, I didn't want to talk to you.
Our stupendous stew will be ruined. We've got to stop that crazy boil, but...
I don't want to talk to you. I want to stomp. Can I stomp? Can I stomp?
You're not allowed to.
Why does he hate me?
Aren't there 2 jump buttons?
That's what I was thinking, but how? Fuck you.
Because of a huge waste of controller potential, there's 2 jump buttons.
Yeah, I don't know what the other one was.
Find one of those little fire guys. I think you're supposed to jump up there.
Well, yeah, I know, but I wanted to throw shit, Question, will it kill me if I go into the hot stuff?
Alright, so what really got us onto the Simpsons thing wasn't really the Simpsons. It was having a goal.
Yeah.
For the end state of future. Do you think that would actually solve the Simpsons problem and other problems, like if it was bad then it's bad now?
Having a goal?
Yeah, like if you were to actually like sit down and write out what would be in your utopia, do you think that you would leave anything out?
I think it's likely for there to be that problem.
Stuff left out?
Well, not necessarily stuff left out, but I don't think having like a stated goal would necessarily solve everything. Like, I mean, like Nazis had a stated goal.
Wow, that went 1,000 miles away from where I was actually saying.
Yeah, I know. I was being silly at that one. Man.
All right, next time on tAP.